Welcome back to my video lesson. Today we are going to talk about the next topic, that is weather. So you can see in the IELTS speaking test, weather is one of the most common topics for everybody to answer. So I hope that in this video you will find some of the useful expressions, some of the ideas, together with examples to help you to answer all the questions related to weather in the speaking part 1 of the IELTS test. So now, let's move on to some of the questions today. So today, we are going to deal with 4 questions. First, what's the weather like in your country each season? Second, what type of weather do you like best? 3, does the weather ever affect what you do? And do you prefer hot or cold weather? Okay, so now let's move on to one question by one question. Now, first, let's talk about what's the weather like in your country each season. So when you are asked to answer this question, you need to describe the weather in details in each of the seasons during the year. So that's why over here you have to describe the typical weather conditions in each season. What's the weather like in spring? What's the weather like in summer? What's the weather like in autumn and also in winter? So I think that this question requires you a lot to answer, to give a lot of information for this question. So here are some of the useful expressions for you. For example, in my country, the weather varied significantly from one season to another. Or you can say, during spring, it's generally, so you have to use some of the words to describe the weather in spring. Okay? Or you can say, in autumn, you can expect, so the typical weather in autumn, right? Here are some of the examples for you. In my country, the weather varies significantly from season to season. Spring is usually mild and pleasant, with blooming flowers and moderate temperatures. In autumn, you can expect cooler temperatures, colorful foliage, and occasional rainfall. Okay, so that is all the information about question 1. Now let's move on to question 2. What type of weather do you like best? So for this kind of question, you need to explain your preferences for specific weather conditions. For example, whether you like the sunny season, or whether you like the rainy season, or whether you like the snowy season, of course in your country. So in Vietnam, there is no snow, so you have to choose the sunny or the rainy season. Okay? So here are some of the useful expressions for you. First, I particularly enjoy. So in this case, you use the word enjoy to replace the word like in the question. This is very important in the IELTS speaking test because you shouldn't repeat the same words from the questions. Instead, you paraphrase, you use another words to express the same idea. Or you can say, I find that I'm at my best when the weather is sunny, rainy, snowy, I don't know, it depends. And here are some of the examples with expressions. I particularly enjoy sunny weather. The warmth of the sun just lifts my spirits, and I love spending time outdoors, whether it's going for a hike or simply relaxing in a park. Or you can say, I find that I'm at my best when the weather is cool and crisp. It energizes me, and I often go for a long walk or runs during such weather. Okay, so try to include as much information as possible in your answers. And of course, because this is the test, so you have to demonstrate your ability to use advanced vocabulary or a variety of vocabulary in your answers. Okay, now let's move on to question 3. Does the weather ever affect what you do? Well, in this kind of question, you need to discuss how weather impacts your daily activities, your travel plans, or your mood. You can mention some of the examples of how you have to change your plans due to weather conditions. Okay, here are some of the useful expressions for you. Weather can have a significant impact on, okay, so weather can have a significant impact on my mood, since, so you have to show some of the changes, some of the impacts that the weather has on your mood. I've had to alter my plans because of the heavy rain, for example. Here are some of the examples for you. Weather can have a significant impact on my weekend plans. If it's raining, I might opt for indoor activities like visiting a museum instead of going for a picnic. Okay? Or I've had to alter my travel plans because of severe weather warnings. Once, I had to delay a flight due to a snowstorm. Okay? Okay, I think that's question 3. It's quite easy for you to develop your answers. Okay? Now, let's move on to question 4. Do you prefer hot or cold weather? So in this case, you have to make a choice, and then you explain your reasons for your liking. And you have to consider how your choice of activities or clothing relates to your preference. So here are some of the useful expressions for you to talk about this question. I have a reference for. I lean toward. Or one of the reasons I prefer. Okay? I think that these expressions are very easy to use. Now let's take a look at the examples with the expressions. I have a preference for hot weather, and I really enjoy the warmth, and it encourages me to spend more time outdoors, whether it's at the beach or having barbecues in the backyard. Okay? Or I lean toward cold weather. I find crispness in the air invigorating, and it's the perfect excuse to cozy up in warm sweaters, and I enjoy hot beverages by the fireplace. Okay, so if you look at the 2 examples over here, you can see that I try to include a lot of vocabulary together with information in the answers. Of course, you can develop your own answers by using your own vocabulary. But again, this is a test, so I strongly advise you to use more advanced vocabulary in your answers. And that can help you to have the good score in the IELTS speaking test. Well, I think that's enough for today, and I hope that these expressions together with examples can help you to get the better score in your next speaking exams. See you again in the next video lessons. Goodbye.